Ford finished in Sonic Gray Pearl, perhaps the best color choice for the 2021 Accord, at least in my opinion. This thing looks amazing. But anyways, there's actually several subtle changes for the 2021 model year, so let's go ahead and start up front on this one. There's actually a slightly refreshed front grille for this year, for the 2021 year. Very nice look to it. Radar sensor is now hidden a little bit better for the 2021 model year. It's hidden down below there, you guys can see that. And active grille shutters are actually going to come standard on the EXL and the Touring trim levels, meaning they will open and close dependent upon the engine cooling that is needed at any given time. But again, this is just for those two trim levels though, so it's usually a feature found on luxury automakers, like for example BMW comes to mind right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the sides here. When it comes to the headlights, LED headlights actually do come standard on every single trim level across the board. They do also come with the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, they will turn on automatically for you there. LED daytime running lights also coming standard, and there's actually redesigned LED fog lights down below for the 2021 model year if you were to go with the sport trim level and up. That's how you're going to get those fog lights. But still, one of the subtle changes for the 2021 model year, and just to the outsides of those fog lights, you guys could probably see that you have some air curtains there as well, directing air around the wheel and tire combination. So a little better aerodynamics there as well. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the side of the 2021 Accord. And so now, since we are around to the side here, chrome upper trim surrounding the windows, you guys can see that there. Body colored door handles will come standard for all trim levels, and you will get a little bit of chrome trim on those door handles if you were to go with the Touring trim level at least. And taking a look at those side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors that do come standard. However, they will be finished in gloss black if you were to go with one of the sport trim levels, and that of course is what you guys are looking at right now. They will be heated on the 2-liter Sport that we have today, and also the Sport Special Edition trim level and up if you wanted those heated mirrors at least. LED integrated turn signals within the side mirrors will come with the EXL trim level and up then. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. 17-inch alloys coming with the LX and EXL trim levels. Then they will be bumped up to 19 machine finished alloys with the sport trims that we have today, and also the Touring trim level as well. And I love the look to the side skirts on the Accord as well, and it definitely ties in very well towards the back. And I know it's a small thing, but not all sedans give you that nice look to the side skirts. A lot of times they will be with a matte black finish on the bottom, so I do like that they're body colored, and there's a nice design to them as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and make our way now to the back of the new Accord. And so since we have the sport trim level here today, there are going to be some subtle differences comparatively speaking to the other trim levels. For example, you will find a gloss black shark fin antenna up top as opposed to body colored. Also, you will find a gloss black rear spoiler back there as well to tie in together with the gloss black side mirrors, of course. But anyways, if you were to not go with one of the sport trim levels, however, there will be no lip rear spoiler back there, so I did want to mention that as well. But just below that, LED taillights actually come standard across the board, and of course they do come with that C-shaped design that the Accord is now known for. And if you were to go with the 2-liter or the sport trim level, you guys see you will get a little bit of chrome badging back there as well. And just below it all, dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips for the sport trim levels and the Touring. Otherwise, that exhaust will be hidden down below. But anyways, having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. And now, since we are around back of the Accord here, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there actually is a button on the trunk itself as expected. There is also a button to unlock it on the key fob itself as well if you wanted to. But anyways, once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 16.7 cubic feet, which is excellent, quite honestly. If you were comparing the Accord to the Camry's trunk space comes in at 15.1 cubic feet, a substantial amount more than that Camry. If you were comparing it to the Hyundai Sonata, that comes in at 16 cubic feet even, so the Honda Accord takes it when it comes to cargo space at least. If that was not enough space, of course, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down for a good bit of extra space on top of that. To make our way to the rear legroom, that comes in at 40.4 inches. Again, excellent amount of space for the rear legroom. For example, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there, so plenty of space for me. Again, for comparison's sake, Toyota Camry comes in at 38 inches even, Hyundai Sonata 34.8 inches. So again, 40 inches, anything over 40 inches really is luxury-like legroom, so plenty of space for me back there. Did want to also though mention, for those rear passengers, there are seat back map pockets. Of course, you can store more than just maps in those pockets. Also a rear center armrest with cup holders for every single trim level. Other manufacturers a lot of times just put that on the upper trim levels, so I like that even the base trim level of the Accord can give you that. Rear charging ports also can be found back there as well. You guys can see that. And if you were to go with the Touring trim level only, you can actually also get heated rear seats. That's another feature that usually you find on luxury vehicles, but not all the time on non-luxury brands. So I love seeing that on the Accord, or at least available for the Accord, I will say that. But making our way now to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating for the LX. Sport trim level is going to give you 12-way power driver's seat with 4-way power lumbar. Heated front seats are going to be found on the Sport Special Edition trim level and up, and also all 2-liter engine options. So that is why we have those heated seats here today. Power adjustable passenger seat found on the Sport Special Edition trim level and up. Leather seating for the Sport Special Edition trim level and up once again. And the Touring trim level is going to add memory settings for 2 drivers and ventilated front seats as well. And as far as the seat comfort goes, it's perfectly fine. Definitely no issues there for me. Not Lexus F Sport comfortable, but certainly comfortable enough to take it on a trip to Ocean City or something like that. Anyways, then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the Sport trim level and up. And once again, the 10-2 grips on this steering wheel are perhaps the best among all of its competitors in its class. They are so thick, and it gives you a much better feeling again of being in control of the vehicle. So I love that. Then make our way to the startup. Let me first start by showing you guys the key here. You have your Honda logo on the one side, and when you flip it over, lock, unlock the button to pop the rear hatch, and that little circular button there on the left, that is going to be a remote start. That is available as well, and there is a push button start for all trim levels across the board. So that's actually how I'm going to start this one up. Simply just put your foot on the brake and press that bright red engine start button located just by the driver's right knee there. And so, but then once started up, those gauges will do a full sweep. There is a digital portion to the gauges found on your left, and then there is the speedometer, which is on your right. That is not part of the digital screen, but it is analog. But still, the digital portion can be controlled by using the steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel, giving you a bunch of different information, like your tachometer, of course, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. You also have trip A, trip B, your radio settings, Bluetooth information, safety settings, when you need your next oil change. The list really goes on. So quite a bit you can control on the digital portion of those gauges there. So that's definitely nice. But then making our way to overall interior quality, you will find a power moonroof if you were to go with the EXL trim level and up, or one of the 2-liter trim levels like we have today. So therefore, you are looking at that power moonroof right now. Dual zone climate control coming standard across the board. Overhead sunglass holder on the roof as well. That comes standard across the board too. Sport pedals, of course, found on the Sport trim levels. They definitely look quite nice down there. Homelink controls can be found on the EXL trim level and the Touring trim level. That's how you're going to go about getting them. Also, with those 2 trim levels, you will get an auto dimming rear view mirror as well. And overall, when it comes to the finishes, I love this carbon fiber imitation trim that you can find above the passenger side glove box. Continues onto the doors. But having said that, you can also find some hard plastics throughout this one, like just in front of the door handles there, also just in front of the drive buttons. But speaking of just in front of the drive buttons, there is actually a wireless phone charger found within that center area as well, which I love. That is definitely pretty nice. 12-volt power outlet in there, 2 USB charging ports, and then the hard plastics actually continue just behind that. You will find 2 cup holders, electromechanical parking brake, and a good bit of storage found within the center armrest as well, including a 12-volt power outlet actually in there too. So definitely quite nice. Love the carbon fiber imitation look up there, and the wireless phone charger is definitely a big one for me as well. But now let's make our way up above all of that to the infotainment screen. It is going to be an 8-inch color touchscreen display for all trim levels across the board. Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay coming standard across the board as well. That is definitely nice. That means you can hook a smartphone up to the Accord, and then therefore display free navigation up on that screen, providing you have the data available to do so. But that means you don't have to go with the factory navigation system, which by the way comes standard on the Touring trim level only. So that's how you're going to get that if you wanted it. But you can of course also check out a ton of other information up there. Like you could choose to display simply a digital clock with a galaxy in the background, which I always thought was pretty cool with Honda. They always do that a little bit differently on their vehicles. I kind of like it. But anyways, radio settings up there of course as well. And by the way, when it comes to the sound systems on the Accord, they will differ substantially amongst the trim levels of course. LX trim is going to give you 4 speakers and 160 watts. Sport trims are going to give you 8 speakers and 180 watts. Then if you go with the EXL or Touring, they are going to give you a 10 speaker sound system with 450 watts and a subwoofer. So since we have one of the sport trim levels today, we do have 8 speakers and 180 watts. So what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today. So I do like that it's 8 speakers. You can tell the difference in clarity, but still not the most bass in the world. But then again, that's what you got the 450 watt sound system for if you wanted a little bit more there. But plenty nice sound system. The last thing I wanted to mention to you guys though on the tech display at least is when you do put the Accord in reverse, you of course will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so first thing I always like to mention when it comes to safety at least, the 2021 Accord is an IIHS top safety pick, so that's always a brilliant start to start with there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver and passenger knee airbags though as well. It doesn't always come standard on every vehicle out there. In the back you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks as well, tire pressure monitoring system. That's all pretty standard and boring at this point, but the fun comes in with Honda Sensing. Honda Sensing does come standard on every single trim of the Honda Accord as well, because that is going to include a collision mitigation braking system, road departure mitigation system, adaptive cruise control, that's a fun one, lane keep assist, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition, meaning the Accord is going to tell you the speed limit of any given road that you're on, so you're less likely to get a speeding ticket. It's always a good thing. And then automatic high beams as well, and that's going to conclude the list that comes standard across the board. However, if you were to go with the EXL Touring or one of the 2-liter trims, you will also get a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, meaning the little car icons in your side mirrors letting you know if somebody is in your blind spot so you don't go turning into anybody on the highway basically. So that's a plus as well. But overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the 2021 Accord, first and foremost, Sonic Gray is a brilliant color. It looks absolutely amazing on the Accord, so I wanted to say that. Also kind of sad to see the 6-speed go. I can understand it from Honda's perspective with supply and demand. If you don't have enough people buying it, what's the sense of producing it? You're just going to end up losing money. So I kind of get it there. Although I will say any Honda manual transmission is absolutely amazing, but I do like the subtle exterior changes. Not a whole lot of a difference, but I do like the differences that it made there. Again, overall exterior styling is great. Wonderful handling, wonderful braking. One of my constructive criticisms though, since we have the more powerful engine, sending all of that power to the front wheels is not going to give you optimal grip, and you're really not going to take full advantage of that power without it being sent to 4 wheels or perhaps some super sticky tires in the summer. But anyways, wouldn't have minded an available all-wheel drive system like the Camry offers, like the Kia K5 now offers. So other sedans are doing that. I think it's about time Honda put an available all-wheel drive system on their Accord, in my personal opinion. Also, full digital gauge cluster I think would look absolutely amazing on the Accord as well. Although it is half a digital gauge cluster, full digital gauges are always better because they're a little more customizable and it looks a little better in my opinion. But also a suede leather combination for the sport trim levels would be pretty cool rather than the cloth leather combination that we have here. And some multicolor ambient lighting as well. But overall, I always have to have pluses and minuses. So don't think I'm knocking the Accord, because I'm really not. This is definitely a wonderful car, and it's for that reason that